The PS5 library is overflowing, and finding a truly definitive experience in the crowded post-apocalyptic genre feels like searching for a clean can of beans in a zombie horde. I decided to dive deep into every wasteland, ruined city, and infected zone the console has to offer, just to separate the essential journeys from the digital dust. The real challenge isn't surviving the world, it's deciding which precious few titles actually make you feel something profound. Are you ready to discover the 20 definitive, unforgettable sagas that will redefine what survival means on the PS5? Let's stop scavenging for cheap thrills and start experiencing the end of the world done right. Ready to jump onto a motorcycle and face a literal tidal wave of undead? Days Gone starts with a simple premise: you're Deacon St. John, a drifter surviving in the Pacific Northwest, but its value for money comes from how brilliantly it scales this concept. The world is dense, beautiful, and absolutely massive, giving you endless reasons to explore every corner, from forgotten checkpoints to infected nests. And here's where it gets interesting: the sheer terror of facing a horde. These aren't your typical zombie shamblers. They're hyper-fast, organized masses of hundreds, and fighting them feels less like a video game encounter and more like a tactical puzzle mixed with a panic attack. The deep, upgradable skill tree and the satisfying loop of scavenging and bike maintenance create an addictive flow that keeps you hooked for dozens of hours, making this one of the most substantial open-world experiences on the console. The narrative, a story of loss, lingering hope, and deep-seated paranoia, manages to pull you in even when the world is trying to tear you apart. Days Gone is proof that a zombie game can still surprise you with emotional depth and an incredible sense of scale. If you're looking for a definitive, lengthy, and often terrifying tale of survival where your bike is your best friend, this is your ticket to ride. Is there any game that defines the modern, character-driven apocalypse better than The Last of Us? While you may have played the original years ago, the Part I remake on PS5 is less a simple remaster and more a complete visual and technical overhaul that truly justifies revisiting Joel and Ellie's heartbreaking journey. The detail in the environments, the intensity of the lighting, and the fluid nature of the character models, it all elevates an already iconic story to a cinematic level few games ever achieve. The tension in every encounter, be it with the infected or other survivors, is palpable thanks to the revamped AI and the sheer fidelity of the sound design. You know that moment when you're creeping through a dark room and a clicker's sound echoes just a little too close? That feeling is amplified tenfold here, forcing you into a loop of stealth, resource management, and genuinely brutal close-quarters combat. It's the narrative, though, that remains the true masterpiece. The relationship between the two main characters is one of the strongest in gaming history, built on powerful emotional beats and high-stakes set pieces. The Last of Us Part 1 is a shorter, focused adventure, but it's a masterclass in linear design. If you want an emotional gut punch delivered with technical precision that maximizes the PS5's hardware, this is an essential title for your library. Let's be honest, sometimes the apocalypse is less about existential dread and more about hitting a zombie so hard its arm flies off in a shower of gore. That's the vibrant, chaotic, and darkly funny energy of Dead Island 2. Set across the sun-drenched, iconic, and now zombie-infested streets of Los Angeles, this game doesn't take itself too seriously, and that is its biggest strength. The core gameplay loop is all about the flesh system, a complex procedural damage model that makes every single hit feel unique and satisfyingly gruesome. Want to melt a zombie with acid, set it on fire, or just watch its bones shatter with a heavy sledgehammer? Dead Island 2 lets you live out your wildest, most violent fantasies with an incredible variety of weapons and a deep card-based skill system that allows for genuine build variety. While the story is a straightforward B-movie romp, the constant flow of new zombie types, the hilarious character interactions, and the sheer joy of the gruesome, fast-paced combat keep the experience fresh. It's a perfect palate cleanser for the heavier titles on this list. For players looking for high-octane, over-the-top, and incredibly satisfying zombie-slaying action, this is one blood-soaked pool party you shouldn't skip. Survival horror doesn't get much better than what Capcom delivered with the Resident Evil 4 remake. This isn't just a prettier version of a classic, it's a terrifying, intense, and dramatically paced reimagining that modernizes every element for the PS5 generation. Stepping into the shoes of Leon S., Kennedy to navigate a creepy Spanish village full of ganados feels instantly familiar yet fresh, thanks to the incredible atmosphere. The gameplay centers on an intense risk-reward system. Do you take the time to aim for a headshot, or quickly parry with your knife to conserve ammo? The new parry mechanic, tied to Leon's knife, is a game-changer, adding an unexpected layer of close-quarter strategy to the action. This mechanical depth, combined with the claustrophobic and often frantic combat, creates a sense of constant, exhausting dread that drives the entire experience. From the oppressive darkness of the early village to the bizarre, unforgettable boss encounters, the game is a masterclass in pacing and escalation. The scarcity of resources and the constant pressure to survive force you to truly master every system. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a benchmark for how remakes should be done, offering incredible replayability through unlockables and higher difficulty settings. It is pure, high-quality, nerve-shredding horror.
Like I told you.
Sometimes, the apocalypse is best faced with a crew of friends, and that's exactly what Back 4 Blood delivers. Born from the DNA of the Left 4 Dead series, this title focuses on intense, co-op-focused mayhem, where teamwork is the only thing standing between you and utter annihilation. Its structure, built around multi-stage campaigns, encourages planning, coordination, and a whole lot of panic-fueled screaming. The standout mechanic here is the card system. This deck-building element adds a brilliant layer of strategy and replay value. You and your team draw cards that provide unique buffs, abilities, or even alter the game's difficulty, ensuring that no two runs are ever truly the same. This dynamic challenge keeps the game from becoming repetitive, constantly forcing you to adapt your strategy to the mutations the game throws at you. With distinct-ridden special infected that force specific tactical responses and a roster of cleaners with unique perks, Back 4 Blood delivers on its promise of high-energy, 4-player co-op fun. It's the perfect choice when you want to dive into a chaotic, zombie-filled world with friends, constantly chasing that perfect run. It might be challenging, but the sense of accomplishment when your team barely scrapes through an intense encounter is unparalleled. What if the apocalypse turned you into the monster, Dying Light? The Beast takes the franchise's legendary parkour and brutal melee combat and injects it with a new, terrifying layer of internal conflict. Playing as Kyle Crane, you are now wrestling with a primal, infected side of yourself, which completely shifts the stakes of every encounter. This isn't just about survival anymore, it's about controlling the very essence of the chaos you inhabit. The experience unfolds in the vast rural wilderness of Castor Woods, moving away from the tight urban confines of previous games to embrace large, open environments perfect for off-road vehicle exploration. The core loop remains addictive, scavenging by day, desperately fighting to survive by night. But here's where it gets interesting. The introduction of the titular Beast mode allows you to temporarily unleash your inner savagery, giving you immense power but threatening to consume your humanity. This mechanic is brilliant, forcing a constant, dramatic risk-reward calculation during the most intense fights. The combat is more visceral than ever, leaning back into the highly satisfying gore and impactful physical feel of the original Dying Light's brutal melee system, complete with the welcomed return of firearms. The Beast is a high-value package that offers deep character progression and a compelling revenge-fueled story, while also retaining the series' best co-op features. If you love the original game and want a fresh, darker take on the formula that pushes the boundary between man and monster, this is the definitive next step. Now let's talk about a future apocalypse defined by speed, style, and razor-sharp reflexes. Stellar Blade delivers a story-driven adventure with sharp combat and well-paced action, where you step into the futuristic boots of Eve. The setting is Earth, ravaged and beautiful in its ruin, creating a uniquely atmospheric backdrop for relentless battles. The gameplay centers around precisely timed counters and fluid combos, giving each battle a rhythmic feel. Unlike pure hack-and-slash titles, Stellar Blade demands precision. Mastering the parry and dodge mechanics is essential to surviving encounters with the monstrous Naytiba. This focus on tactical timing ensures that every enemy, large or small, poses a genuine threat, leading to moments of intense, satisfying skill mastery. While the core exploration is mostly linear, the robust skill tree, character upgrades, and equipment improvements contribute to a satisfying sense of progression. The cutscenes are fluidly presented, and the narrative tone matches the world design perfectly. For fans of action-focused single-player adventures that deliver stunning visuals and a rewarding combat challenge in a sci-fi apocalypse, Stellar Blade stands out as a refined experience.
This is my battle. Everyone.
If you grew up terrified of Skynet and the T-800, then Terminator, Resistance Enhanced is the post-apocalyptic power fantasy you've been waiting for. This game doesn't just borrow the Terminator universe, it fully immerses you in the gritty, desperate atmosphere of the future war, making you feel like a true survivor in the Resistance. The gameplay combines first-person shooting, light RPG elements, and tense stealth sections. Scavenging for supplies and using limited resources to upgrade your gear are crucial, but the true thrill comes from engaging in combat against the cold, metallic efficiency of the Terminators. These enemies are absolute bullet sponges, demanding tactical positioning and smart use of plasma weaponry. And here's where the immersion hits. The iconic sound effects and the constant feeling of being hunted by an unstoppable force give this game a huge leg up in atmosphere. The enhanced version on the PS5 brings faster load times and improved frame rates, making the desperate battle against the machines feel smoother and more immediate. It delivers a deeply satisfying story that respects the lore of the first two films, complete with meaningful character choices. For fans of the franchise, this isn't just a fun shooter, it's the authentic post-Judgment Day experience you always wanted to live through. Sometimes, the apocalypse is beautiful, philosophical, and utterly heartbreaking. Nier Automata is an action RPG that uses its post-apocalyptic setting where androids 2B and 9S fight an endless war against machine life forms to explore deep questions about existence, purpose, and the nature of humanity. The premise sounds heavy, but the experience is pure, compelling magic. The combat, designed by the masters at Platinum Games, is fast, fluid, and brilliantly varied, seamlessly blending close-quarters hack-and-slash with twin-stick shooter mechanics. Mastering 2B's devastating combos and aerial maneuvers is incredibly satisfying, but the true value of Nier Automata lies in its revolutionary structure. The story isn't over when you see the credits roll the first time. The game demands multiple playthroughs, with each run offering a radically different perspective, new gameplay styles including the amazing shift to 9S, and crucial narrative revelations. It's a game that constantly shifts genre, style, and tone, keeping you guessing until the very end. The melancholic, Grammy-worthy soundtrack only enhances the game's emotional resonance. If you're looking for an apocalypse that challenges your mind as much as your reflexes, Nier Automata is a genuinely unforgettable journey that redefines what a video game narrative can be. Step into the deep, dark heart of a Russian wasteland with Metro Exodus, a game that trades the tight tunnels of its predecessors for a massive, semi-open world journey across a ruined continent. Playing as Artyom, you and your Spartan Rangers must escape the Moscow Metro and seek out a new life, turning the apocalyptic setting into a cross-country epic. The value here comes from the fantastic blend of tense survival horror and wide-open exploration. You move between sprawling, open sandbox levels from the dusty deserts of the Caspian Sea to the lush forests of the taiga, each with its own distinct environmental threats, hostile human factions, and horrific mutated creatures. The constant need to scavenge, clean your weapons, and manage your gas mask filters creates a constant, realistic pressure that few games capture so effectively. The gunplay is gritty and realistic, with every bullet feeling precious, and the crafting system ties directly into your survival, reinforcing the harsh reality of the world. Metro Exodus is a technical marvel that uses stunning graphical detail to create immense atmosphere. It's a lengthy, compelling, and deeply immersive journey that proves the end of the world can still offer adventure and a sliver of hope. Most apocalyptic games are about shooting zombies, but Frostpunk challenges you to survive the end of the world with nothing but difficult moral choices and a massive coal-powered generator. This is a brutal, relentless city builder where the enemy isn't a monster but the sheer, unforgiving cold. Set in an alternate 1886 where the globe has been plunged into an ice age, your job is to lead the last city on Earth. The core gameplay loop is a masterful exercise in resource management and ethical compromise. You know that moment when you have to choose between forcing child labor to keep the generator running or letting people freeze to death? Frostpunk is full of these impossible decisions. Every law you pass has a tangible, often devastating effect on the populace's hope and discontent meters. The technical value here is immense, offering dozens of hours of deep, strategic gameplay that constantly pushes your limits as a leader. The PS5 version, with its clear UI and improved control scheme, makes managing the complex city layout seamless. Frostpunk excels because it's not just a game, it's a philosophical exploration of what it takes to survive when all hope is lost. If you're looking for an apocalypse that swaps bullet hell combat for psychological and logistical horror, this deeply rewarding, highly replayable strategy game is essential. Hideo Kojima's apocalyptic vision is unlike anything else on this list. Stranding 2 continues the saga of Sam Porter Bridges, focusing not on fighting hordes, but on reconnecting a fractured, spectral, and beautiful world. This isn't just a game, it's an experience in persistent atmospheric delivery set against a backdrop of supernatural phenomena called the Death Stranding that has shattered civilization. The core gameplay loop involves navigating massive, geographically challenging landscapes while meticulously managing your cargo, balance, and inventory. This seemingly simple task becomes a deep, meditative, and often thrilling challenge, especially when factoring in the time-bending BTs and hostile mule bandits. The sequel promises to expand on the Strand game genre with new traversal mechanics and expanded co-op features, making the act of simply walking across the map an engaging, tactical endeavor. And here's where it gets interesting. The game's deep social strand system, where players passively help each other by leaving equipment, bridges, and signs, creates a unique, communal feeling of survival across vast distances. The cinematic presentation, the surreal plot twists, and the sheer originality of the concept ensure that Death Stranding 2 is a true high-value title. If you want a contemplative, visually stunning apocalypse that redefines open-world design, prepare for a long, unforgettable delivery route. Step into the gritty, chrome-plated wastes of the Australian outback with Mad Max, a game that perfectly captures the desolate vehicular anarchy of its movie namesake. Set in a world where gasoline is the only currency and survival is a daily battle, you play as Max Rockatansky, obsessed with rebuilding his lost vehicle, the magnum opuses. This game delivers excellent value through its focus on two distinct, satisfying gameplay loops. The first loop is the brutal, satisfying hand-to-hand combat, which borrows the best elements of fluid, counter-based brawlers, making Max a genuine savage force. The second, and more crucial, is the vehicular combat. The massive open wasteland is primarily navigated in your heavily armored car, and battling convoys of warboys with harpoons, nitro boosts, and side-mounted shotguns is pure, exhilarating carnage. It's a high-octane demolition derby, complete with deep customization for your vehicle. The game is dense with activities, from clearing enemy camps to collecting scrap for upgrades, offering a vast, compelling world to explore. While the story is straightforward, the atmosphere and the constant, desperate struggle for resources are what sell the experience. Mad Max is a solid, often overlooked gem for players who want a post-apocalypse defined by explosive car chases and visceral, bone-crunching combat. Want an apocalypse that feels less like a script and more like a terrifying atmospheric hunt? Generation Zero drops you into 1980s Sweden, where the population has vanished, replaced by an array of hostile, often massive, military-grade robots. The sense of isolation and mystery is palpable, creating a unique and deeply unnerving atmosphere that stands apart from the typical zombie or mutant fare. The key to Generation Zero's value is its co-op-focused, open-world stealth and guerrilla warfare. You and up to 3 friends must scavenge, survive, and use clever tactics to take down machines that significantly outclass you in firepower and durability. Unlike other shooters, you can't just run and gun. The robots have weak spots, armor plating, and patrol patterns you must learn, turning every encounter into a tense, tactical engagement. The game rewards methodical exploration and resource management as you slowly uncover the mystery of the robot invasion. The desolate, beautifully rendered Swedish countryside acts as a perfect, quiet counterpoint to the sudden, loud destruction of the robot battles. If you're looking for an open-world shooter with a unique sci-fi premise and a focus on strategic, co-op survival against intimidating mechanical foes, Generation Zero offers a compelling, atmospheric challenge. If you like your apocalypse served with a massive dose of chaos, explosions, and vibrant neon colors, then Rage 2 is your jam. Developed by the masters of open-world destruction, Avalanche Studios, and the FPS legends ID Software, This game delivers a definitive blend of vehicular combat and hyper-fast, superpower-infused first-person shooting. You play as Walker, the last ranger, tasked with fighting the tyrannical authority across a vast and varied wasteland. The technical value here lies entirely in the smooth, satisfying gunplay. This isn't about cover, it's about aggression. Using abilities like the Shatter, Dash, or the Gravitational Slam, while juggling enemies and managing massive waves of mutants, makes every battle a euphoric dance of destruction. The fluidity of movement and combat ensures that the fun never stops, creating an immensely high-energy experience. And here's where it gets interesting. The vehicular combat is just as important as the shooting. Customizing and upgrading your vehicle, and then engaging in explosive chases across the dunes, provides a perfect high-octane counterbalance to the on-foot action. Rage 2 is pure, unadulterated escapism, a perfect choice for players who want a post-apocalypse that's less about dread and more about becoming an unstoppable engine of creative mayhem. Forget the zombies and the super mutants. Sometimes the most terrifying apocalypse is one driven by nature itself. The Long Dark is an unflinching single-player survival simulator set in the frozen Canadian wilderness after a geomagnetic disaster. It strips away all the heroic tropes and leaves you with a brutal, simple mandate: survive the elements. The game is a masterclass in tension derived from resource scarcity. You're not just managing a health bar, you're managing hunger, thirst, fatigue, and body temperature. Every choice, whether to push on to the next cabin or conserve your matches and rest, carries immense weight. You know that moment when you've found food, but now you're suffering from frostbite and your boots are ruined? That feeling of constant, desperate calculation defines the game's high value. The technical depth here is incredible, featuring complex weather systems, realistic wildlife encounters where wolves and bears are genuine threats, and deep crafting. The story mode, Wintermute, provides a compelling narrative, but the true replayability comes from the pure sandbox mode. If you want an immersive, high-stakes, and genuinely challenging survival experience where the cold is your ultimate, relentless enemy, The Long Dark is an essential, gripping title. Ready for a truly unique flavor of apocalypse? Remnant II describes itself as a Souls-like shooter, and it delivers on that promise by blending challenging, methodical third-person gunplay with the brutal difficulty, deep build crafting, and vast interconnectivity of a Souls-like RPG. You and your crew explore multiple reality-bending worlds, each ravaged by a root-like corruption, making every playthrough a fresh, terrifying experience. The brilliance of Remnant II is its incredible procedural generation. The layouts, bosses, and secrets of each world are randomized, ensuring that even after dozens of hours, you're still discovering new dungeons and unique encounters. This replayability adds immense value, constantly encouraging you to try out new archetypes, skills, and gear combinations to tackle ever-escalating threats. The gunplay is tight and responsive, offering a massive variety of weapons and modifications, making it an excellent experience for both single-player and co-op. You know that moment when you and two friends are barely scraping by against a colossal boss you've never seen before? That intense, shared struggle is what defines the game. Remnant II is essential for players who want a demanding, high-value shooter that keeps the mystery and challenge alive long after launch. Sometimes, the end of the world is just a good excuse to look for more loot. Borderlands 3 perfected the looter-shooter genre, placing you on the fractured, cartoonishly violent planet of Pandora and beyond. This game's core value proposition is simple: billions of guns, non-stop mayhem, and a brilliantly sarcastic sense of humor that makes even the most apocalyptic scenario feel like a hilarious field trip. Playing as one of the 4 unique Vault Hunters, each with their own deep skill trees and distinct playstyles, ensures maximum replayability, especially in its excellent 4-player co-op mode. The sheer variety of weaponry, guns that talk, guns that shoot volcanoes, guns that grow legs and attack enemies, is the primary driver of fun, making every legendary drop feel like Christmas morning. The shift to the PS5 brings a stable 60 FPS performance, which is absolutely crucial for the kind of chaotic, high-speed combat the series demands. The game takes you to diverse worlds, each with its own brand of apocalypse, providing a massive amount of content and value for money. Borderlands 3 is essential if you want a vibrant, funny, and content-rich experience that constantly rewards you with better, crazier gear. If you blended the challenging, methodical combat of Dark Souls with a dramatic, character-driven narrative and stylish, anime-inspired visuals, you'd get Code Vein, Set in a collapsed world where revenants, vampiric soldiers, struggle to survive and fight the corrupted lost, this is an action RPG that excels with its unique partner system and deep class customization. The combat is fast and punishing, relying on carefully timed dodges, parries, and powerful blood veil attacks. The high-value element here is the incredible flexibility of its class system. You can switch between various blood codes on the fly, instantly changing your abilities, weapons, and stats. This allows players to experiment with countless builds without ever having to start a new character, keeping the gameplay dynamic and engaging. The atmospheric, ruined environments and the engaging plot, which centers on retrieving lost memories and finding a cure for the virus, provide a strong narrative backbone. The ability to bring along an AI partner who can assist in battles and revive you makes the high difficulty far more accessible than in typical Souls-likes. Code Vein is a highly rewarding choice for RPG fans seeking a deep, dark fantasy apocalypse with an unforgettable visual style and immense mechanical depth. State of Decay 2 offers a uniquely challenging take on the zombie apocalypse, focusing heavily on community and resource management rather than just pure action. Your goal isn't just to survive, it's to build a sustainable, functioning settlement in a world where permadeath is a very real threat. Every survivor you recruit has unique skills, personalities, and problems, turning the zombie apocalypse into a surprisingly deep sociological simulation. The core gameplay loop involves scavenging for resources, building and upgrading your base, and constantly balancing the needs of your community against the ever-present threat of the undead and the hostile blood plague. You know that moment when your best medicine specialist gets killed on a routine supply run and now your whole base is at risk? That genuine high-stakes drama is what makes this game incredibly compelling. While originally an Xbox PC exclusive, its recent availability and enhanced performance on PS5 provide an excellent console experience. The ability to jump into a co-op game with friends to scavenge and protect your territory adds a huge layer of fun and tactical depth. State of Decay 2 is essential for players who crave a complex open-world survival game that blends third-person combat with deep, rewarding base building and community simulation. At the end of the day, finding the definitive post-apocalyptic experience on the PS5 can feel like a survival mission itself, but every single title on this list delivers an exceptional return on your investment. Whether you crave cinematic drama, fluid action, complex strategy, or cooperative chaos, these 20 games offer unforgettable journeys through the end of the world. Which one of these desperate struggles for survival resonated the most with you and why? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dive lists, and check out the next essential video on your screen right now. The world might be over, but the games have just begun.
They want blood, they will get it. We'll cross it no matter what those fanatics think.